Hi guys, Redneck Computer Geek here, and today we're going to be talking about installing an actual recoil pull start from Briggs & Stratton on the mud mower. As you can see, I installed it. I had it installed for the last romp that I went on. I actually used it 5 or 6 times on that romp because I was having issues, and it works great. It's an actual Briggs & Stratton recoil that was designed for a 17 horsepower generator motor that I've retrofitted in order to go on this 15.5. And I will be putting them on other builds as I go along so that I have the opportunity off-road in case the starter fries. Moving on, what is the Briggs & Stratton part number? The Briggs & Stratton part number on this is 591606. It comes up under Starter Rewind on Briggs & Stratton's codes. So, what comes with the kit when you buy it? It comes with this recoil top. It comes with the bolts that would go in if you were dealing with the 17 horsepower generator motor. In this case, we do not have the holes, so we're going to have to deal with that. It also comes with the cup that goes on top of the flywheel, so you will need to be able to remove the flywheel top in order to be able to install the cup, the nut on the top of the flywheel. So, let's talk about this install and go over it a little bit. Alright, so as you can see, before I tear it apart, it is fully functional, so I'll tear it down to show you what I did. Alright, so let's get a chance to go and take a look at how this actually works. If you've never taken your top cover off before, it's pretty simple on one of these single cylinders. There's 2 bolts on the back. You undo the 2 quarter inch that hold the starter shield. You undo the 1/4 inch that holds the oil, and then you undo the 2 studs in the front, and the whole thing should just lift off after you're done with that. So I'm going to grab the camera now and come over here and show you a little more up close. Okay, one of the first and easiest things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take the nut and the bolt off the top of the flywheel along with the washer, and you're going to have to swap this, which holds the flywheel shield on, for this cup which comes with the kit. So as best as you can, make sure to center it and line it up. The bolt hole that's in this cup is just a tiny bit larger, so I'm assuming that the generator engine must have a slightly larger flywheel bolt. So just center it as best you can. You should be able to eyeball it on all sides and go from there. Next, you're going to need to line up your recoil. And what I ended up doing was setting this on so that it was on like so, and then what I did was, with the cup in place, I pulled the recoil till it triggered. As you can see, it triggers, and then where each of these holes were, I marked a dot through so that I could be able to drill them afterwards and have them line up, because if you just guess, then the teeth on the recoil may not end up lining up. And if you don't understand what I mean by teeth on the recoil, I mean that when you pull the recoil, these white teeth come out. And these white teeth are what pull on the cup in order to spin it around. So this right here comes out and it grabs into these edges right here. So once that was lined up, and just before anybody decides to comment on it, originally I used self-tapping stainless steel screws, and I just drilled down through. Well, that sounded like a really good idea until I tried to turn it over the very first time, and realized that by using that, I was actually right on top of this flywheel piece. And I was worried about causing damage and things like that, so what I ended up doing was I found a couple of bolts along with nut and lock washer and ran those through, and it easily clears the top of the flywheel fan. set it back on. If you have a gas pedal set up, you do need to be able to hold your gas open when you pull on the recoil. And if you have a choke on your setup, you will need to figure out a way to hold your choke in while you're pulling on the recoil if you're doing a cold start. If you've been out romping and you've been working the tractor, this works perfectly fine without having to deal with the choke. But if you're just starting it, you will need some way to wedge your choke open. One of my recommendations, if you have one of these singles like this, is using a zip tie around the choke clip so that you can be able to move the choke back and forth. I'll post a picture of what I'm talking about right now. As you can see, if you look, you'll see that there's a zip tie around the choke piece, and that lets you move it back and forth so that you can choke it when it's cold, let the tractor warm up, and then push it back out. The choke piece itself acts as a retaining spring and works pretty good. Well, I hope that helps you with your mower build, whether it be a yard cutter or whether it is an extreme machine like Made Mud Mower. But that should set you along. If you're looking for other ideas, I'd suggest checking out a man by the name of Fearless Front here on YouTube. He does a pulley pull start on the top like the old 1970s tractors had. And that's another good way to get your machine up and running in a pinch. But as it is, I got to get to work. I've got the hydro here. I just had parts come in, and I'm going to tear that apart. If you have a chance, check out the rest of my channel. Have a good day. Enjoy mud.